This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the April edition of the RMC Support Group. We are so glad that you are here. Um, as you may or may not know, Richie is partying. She is on vacation, a well-deserved, might I add. I know that the walk took a lot out of her. Andre and I will be happy to give you an update about that, but we want to get to our people tonight. We have Lucy and Edward. Lucy, we talked a little bit earlier, but I want to start with you. Could you give us just a little bit of background and let us know, what's going on when your son was diagnosed? Tell us a little bit about him and where you are now. Oh, you're on mute.
I was on mute. Thank you. My son's name is Dylan. He is 15 now. He was 14 at the time, so that's last year. So at least from what I've read, very typical, blood in the urine, going to the ER, and then test over test, and then getting the diagnosis. He has been actively going to chemotherapy. His chemotherapy is aggressive. It's every week. He's had surgery already to remove his right kidney. I think that was the only time that um, that was the only time I think that he skipped on chemo. But since then, has actively gone to chemo. We go back and forth to MD every 2 months for imaging. The good news is that every scan has been good. And so a lot of shrinkage, really nothing active, which has been a blessing. Obviously, a few concerns, and based on just talking to the doctors, as you all know, it's one of those where chemo is endless for the time being until the body really says it's time to stop. And so that's where he is. He is a strong little boy, and but it's hard. It's hard, as you can imagine. It's hard for a 15-year-old. So yeah.
Of course it is. And how are you doing with all of it?
It's a lot. It is a lot. I am originally from Kenya, born and raised.
Mhm.
I've
Mhm.
been in the country there for 18 years, married 17 years. So it's truly just my husband and myself. We do have a huge community of supporters from his school and from our church and just where we live, again in Kansas City, Overland Park.
Mhm.
So that has been helpful. I was out of work for about 6 months, just primarily to take care of him, especially during the surgery and around that time frame. But I am back to work now. But still, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, a lot of unknowns. And truly, it's just one day at a time, one day at a
Yeah.
time. He's able to go to school, so that's been a blessing. Granted, there are times that he's not able to go, considering that he's having the weekly chemo and then the elastic shot and then the bones hurt. So the effects, the side effects of chemo sometimes will cause him um, not to go to school or just not to be himself. So just dealing with that. But it is a lot. It is a lot. It's one day at a time.
Yeah, and Aisha, who's on the call, knows a lot about that. That's why I see her nodding. Her son Gregory, who we all love, has been going through RMC too, and eventually you guys are gonna chat in the meeting. But Lucy, thanks so much for sharing. And do you have like we normally what we do is we kind of go around and just if you're new, you share, and then I wanted to ask, is there anything on your mind tonight? Any question you want to ask, and then we come back to that.
Yeah, I do have a few questions. Obviously, I
Oh,
want to hear other
okay,
people's
perfect.
experiences. Yeah,
Perfect. Yes,
yeah.
and I'll make sure that we come back to you on that.
Okay.
Perfect. Hi, Edward. Have you been to our group before?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. D I guess, can you do an introduction just so Lucy can hear it too?
Oh, hey, how you know? I'm sorry. The NBA playoff games are currently on.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Um, I probably wouldn't even be on this call if I hadn't heard my phone go doo 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 doo. I'm like, who calling me when I'm meditating? I thought it was on silent, but it wasn't. So I'm just like, oh, it's them. I am so sorry. all right, I'm gonna pause you and I'm gonna figure this stuff out to see if I could video chat my new best friends. Uh, but you gotta give a little, so it's like you don't see me doing this. So obviously I'm trying to get my exercise in or whatever. About the only thing I can work out right now. I get too fatigued doing anything else. Uh, no, but everything's actually with me is going pretty well. Um, the VA actually put in my referral, and it actually got accepted. I go down to MD Anderson on the 21st. We're trying to get the VA to give me housing while I'm down there for the 3 to 5 days that I'm going to be down there. We're working that out now. I have to email her all the stuff for the application. But my sister, busybody, Janet, my ace boon, the one that loves me the most. Is any of my family on here? No, they're not. Great. Yeah, the one that loves me the most. Uh, made sure that everything was set up before I even called. So it should be simple. Then after that, I'm worrying about the flight um, and prices for that. I talked to Miss Ritchie or whatever, and she told me about a couple of programs. One program didn't have flights or whatever that soon, so they should like just give us your appointments or whatever. We already did your application process, um, and just keep in touch, and then we'll see what we have available. So now I'm going through another place or whatever that deals with people that were veterans to see if they'll help. But I've left like 2 messages. They don't like to answer their phone. So, so
Was the resource that Richie gave you, was it Corporate Angel Network or Angel Flight?
yes, I believe so.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Just something to add real quick, Edward. As a veteran, there's a lot. There's a
Andre, oh, good, you're there.
All right. I'm good. Somebody had called, had called, interrupted. But as a veteran, there's a lot more resources out there. Um, you can look into the Fisher House. I know when I first got diagnosed, like my whole family, they got different Fisher houses, and I know they got one in Houston where they'll put you in the room, they'll put your family in the room and all that stuff. So check with the fish houses, and there are also different resources uh, for flights as well for veterans. I can get the information to you. I can text the information to you.
That'd be great or whatever. The more information, the better. So I had, let me see, around the chemo today. That's actually going fairly decent. But it's always up and then down and then back up. So we'll see how long I'm gonna be up or whatever. Hopefully, it lasts until this play-in playoff is over with for the NBA, and I'll be happy. But other than that or whatever, I'm in good spirits. Family is great. Helped me out a lot. Kids are great. Um, and that's about it actually.
And do you have any specific questions tonight? Anything we can answer?
No, no, not tonight.
Okay. And again, you can always change your mind.
Hmm.
Hi, Aisha. Welcome. It was so great to
Um,
hug you and see and have lunch
yes,
with you. Could
yes.
you kind of tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so I'm Aisha. My son Gregory, he has RMC. He was diagnosed in October. We recently relocated to Houston for treatment, so we are here now, and we were thankful to be able to go to the walk and meet a lot of people in person, which was great. And to see the community here in Houston was excellent. We feel love, and he's doing well with the chemo. The chemo is each time he has it, it's taken a toll on him. He's usually not able to recover until about a week later. But he's in good spirits. He's asleep right now. So I try to sleep when he sleeps. And but he is doing well. The scans did show shrinkage, so that's a great thing. And he has a lot of hope and a lot of fight in him. So I'm just thankful that we're here, and I'm thankful that he's getting the treatment that he needs. And I'm blessed to be able to be here with him. Edward, I want to say I'm so happy for you that you got approved and you're going to be coming down here because you've been weighing very heavy on my mind when it comes to your situation. So I'm very thankful and glad that you are blessed to be able to come down here. And there are a lot of resources. MD Anderson also has a website that has resources regarding flights and also regarding housing, hotels, as well as car rentals. I did find out like you can get like a car rental for like $200 for the entire week, which is great. So look on their website and look for their resources. And we hopefully will be able to see you and meet you in person as well. But I'm very happy for you that you'll be coming down here. And hopefully everything works out to where you'll be able to stay here or at least work it in your schedule with your family so that you'll be able to come back and forth for treatment because this is the place to be. And
Yeah.
Gregory, he's asleep right now. Just to tell you, Gregory's asleep right now. We both asleep. I was taking a nap with him, and
Well, we're
my
happy he's sleeping if he's sleeping comfortably and good.
he is. We have chemo on Thursday, so we're gearing up for that again. But the good news is, out of the three times that he's had chemo here, the first two times he was in the hospital right after the chemo. So between his red blood cells, his white blood cells being non-existent the first time, and we were there for about 9 days, and then the second time he had chemo, he wound up having a pulmonary embolism. So we were back in the hospital for like another week. But I'm glad to say that the last time he had it, we were home. So I'm thankful for that. And he like I said, he's a fighter and he's pushing hard. But for me as a mother, I was very anxious about the next time. And we were here and we were able to be home. It was actually on his birthday. And I do have to say, Dr. Tamir and his staff made it very special for him. They surprised him and came in with cupcakes and cookies, and they sang happy birthday to him. So I get emotional. I started crying, but it was very something that that surprised us, and we just feel like family, and we feel welcome, and that's the best feeling ever because we didn't feel that way in New York. So I just want to say that.
Well, we're all really glad to hear that, and we're also really glad to hear that the treatments are going well. Reduction, shrinkage, that's great. Do you have any specific questions for us tonight?
No, I came in late, so I apologize to everyone,
No, you are
especially
good.
Lucy. I didn't really get to hear much, so I hope to be able to connect with you, or I hope to be able to hear more about your little boy and what you've been going through and how long you've been dealing with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then our beloved Anna, welcome. We're
Hi.
glad to see you. Would you like to share with us a little bit about what's been going on?
Yeah. So I had to miss last month because I had a treatment. It's called Y90. It's iridium 90, where they put a radioactive substance straight into the mets that I have in my liver. It's been rough. It's been like a rough 5 weeks since I've had it, and so I just wasn't feeling well. After the treatment, I couldn't start chemo in the last couple of weeks because I just wasn't feeling well. So I got started on steroids just a couple of days ago, and I think that's helped. I've had pain and low grade fevers and things, and um, so I think I'm getting better, and we're planning to do chemo 2 weeks from yesterday. So hopefully I can restart. But yeah, that's the main thing for me. It's been a bit of a difficult time just getting over that treatment, but I'm hopeful that it will be effective.
Yeah, so you don't know if there's been any response yet, you haven't done a scan or anything?
So the response is delayed with this.
Uh-huh.
It can take several months to see a response. I had a CAT scan, but it just shows a lot of inflammation. So
Yeah.
you can't really see yet what what the response is, and I think it's just it was pretty tough. I think so. It's going to be a
Yeah.
little while to see that, but I have an MRI scheduled in a few weeks.
Well, we're all
So
hoping for the absolute best here.
thank you.
And you have any questions or anything tonight?
No.
All right, Lucy, lay it on us. Ask whatever you want. There's a lot. And or Andre, can you go really quick because you are one of the best stories that we have of encouragement. Just your brief RMC story, and then we will have Lucy pick everyone's brain because there's a lot of info in this room right now.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Lucy. My name is and everybody. My name is Andre. I was diagnosed with RMC back in 2019. I got treated at MD Anderson. Um, Pretty much went through the gambit of chemotherapy and immunotherapy and radiation and pretty much all those different treatments. I got my first clear scan in October 2020. My scans have been clear ever since. Um, right now, I continue to get CAT scans right now every 6 months. Hopefully, I can get to that, once a year mark. But I'm just living witness that this disease can be beat. I continue to keep my faith throughout my process, and throughout my journey, and um, I'm just praying that each and every one of y'all, and your sons or your loved ones can beat this disease, so we all can have a testimony and share it with others. So yeah, that's my story.
All right, Lucy, you're up.
So it's good to hear Andrea's story. Obviously, a story of hope, which is very, very much needed. As a parent, as a caregiver, I've heard so many stories about, you gotta change your diet and you can't do this and you can't do that. And I just wanted to hear from someone that's really been through it to understand, are there any things that one, you stopped doing, and two, you incorporated to kind of help you through the journey, or just from, I don't know, research, advice from other people, and so forth and so on. The reason I asked that is because one of the things I was advised by a nutritionist, I'm a nutrition major myself. And so, as you can imagine, as soon as that happened, I just kind of dug into the whole nutrition and the correlation between all of that and kind of tweaked my son's diet, obviously just based on intuition. And so I don't know if that's even the right thing, but as I continue to read, you read all of the stories, there's a whole lot of information out there. So I just wanted to hear your perspective or anyone else's perspective on any changes that you have made or incorporated.
You want me to take this one, Alexa? I
Everybody, if
oh,
anybody has anything to share
um
on this, just go ahead. We're not here to police you.
Especially you. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
so I tried to change my diet, like when I was going through the journey, but I just got to a point where I just ate whatever it was that I liked. I mean, you going through this journey, the chemo takes a big toll on your body. Sometimes your appetite might change, your taste buds. I had to rinse my mouth with that salt and soda stuff or whatever. So I just got to a point where I just tried to eat, a lot of the things that I like so my body can be strong because it takes an effect on your white blood cells, your red blood cells, your weight. So I just wanted to, just eat as many things that I like so my body can feel strong that I can get through this journey. So that's my perspective, and it helped me. So if anybody else want to chime.
I can say, excuse me, that initially we did similar to where we tried to change his diet, and it was like, all right, we're going vegan, and we like went all in, and then it was like, okay, no, because he needed to eat, and at that point, as a mother, even now I struggle with him, because you read sugars, cancers feed on sugars, and that's where it's out there. But it he lost a lot of weight initially. My son went down to like 160, 65 pounds. Now I'm thankful to say, not really thankful, but he's up to like 220. He was at 230 and he lost like 10 pounds. But he's at a healthy weight to me. I'd rather see him have the weight because of how the chemo what it does to your body. So for him, even at his weight, he is still weak. He's still fatigued, and I can't imagine how he would be if he didn't have the weight. So all he usually pretty much eats what he wants to eat for the most part, but we do a lot of vegetables. We do a lot of fish. We do a lot of poultry. We don't do a lot of red meat, but that if he feels like having a steak or something red, then he's gonna have it. But it's more to whatever he wants to eat and when he's able to eat. There's times in which he has no appetite. So what I have found, because we dealt a lot with being nauseous and him throwing up, is he eats throughout the day. He grazes. So he does eat a lot of fruits, which is it's sugar, but it's complex sugar. So he does eat a lot of oranges. He eats a lot of apples. He eats a lot of bananas. So he even eats dry fruits. He eats nuts. So I try and have that available to him, and I try and cook fresh vegetables for him. But he eats a little bit throughout the day, and whenever he wants to eat, he eats. And when he doesn't, what I have found, especially with his chemo, is he'll eat soups. So I'll make soups for him because it'll give him the hydration, and it's not hard on his body to digest, and it's easier for him to eat. And sometimes when if we use canned soup, he'll only drink the broth and he'll eat the vegetables. He doesn't really eat the carbs, or the meat. So it just really depends. But I'd rather that he eat than he doesn't eat. So for me, it's like even he has candy at times, and I can't stand it, because of me being a parent. But when he wants it, he wants it. And there's times in which I cook and have food, and he'll want pizza, and I find myself going out getting pizza. So whatever he wants to eat, he eats, and I pretty much let him eat whatever it is. But that's our story. And he with the chemo sometimes he deals with mouth sores. So I don't know if anybody, and Andre, you mentioned that, but he's had like maybe two mouth sores, and he has this wrench that he takes, and he doesn't like the wrench to rinse his mouth out. But when he doesn't have the mouth sore, he's eating if he has an appetite. And small meals, grazing throughout the day helps him so that he doesn't throw up. When he has big meals, he throws up. Like every time we go out and he has a big meal, the car ride, by the time he gets home, he's throwing it all up. So that's our story.
Thank you.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off of what she said. Yeah, eating sometimes is kind of hard. Sometimes throughout the day, I do feel like kind of like defeated because like my back is hurting so bad, I don't want to get up. and stuff like that. And then you get the phone call from the sister that I love, that's like my favorite, my ride or die, or the girlfriend. What you eat today? I'm like, you know, I ain't got out the bed. Like, stop playing with me or whatever. So it's like it's irritating. Now I know it's all love and all that, but it's like sometimes you just don't have a taste for it or whatever. And then when you do or whatever, what tends to happen is it's like I feel so like I'll eat and then I'll feel so bloated, and then I'll be like, okay, I can't really eat anything, but then I'm peeing like a racehorse, so I know I got to keep fluid in my body, and I still feel more bloated. Like one thing I found that actually gives me like energy a little bit is like I start mixing. Hold on one second. Somebody's trying to call me. Call you back later. Um, come back to me. Am I back? Okay, I'm back. I started mixing uh, beet juice with like these little immune little shots or whatever, and then I'll mix Ensure with it, and then put some organic apple juice in it, and I usually have about probably like two of them a day. So it'll be a mixture like this. Whatever I find that like shaking it up and drinking like a bottle or two of that or whatever give me a little more energy throughout the day. Like when I don't take it, I'm like so fatigued, but when I do or whatever, I actually have energy or whatever to get out and do something. So if you ever see me online and I'm out and about playing poker, I have my trusty friend with me. So that's one of the things or what I found that helps me out or whatever. And I tried eating healthy, like super healthy. That bought me a juicer and a bigger Ninja or whatever to bake stuff. And I'm just like, who about to cook? Not me. That's the old me. I ain't trying to do none of that. I'm trying to sit down and chill. But I did like buy like some little basic weights, so if I am sitting down in my room or whatever, I can just move around, move about, and it's only like 2, 3, and 5 pounds, so it's just little things I can do with my arm and stuff like that. Because being in the military or whatever, and like doing fitness bodybuilding, like uh, prior to the army, it's like my body is weak as crap, and I went from like 225 pounds, almost 230, and now I'm at like I think my worst was like 167, so I'm at 175. So I'm starting to gain weight again. So that's my side of it. And it's hard to tell your family to leave you alone or whatever, and it's like you want what you want when you want it. Like if you have a taste, if I have a taste for it or whatever, like me and my girlfriend can be out, and I eat like an eighth of the plate and be like, we're just gonna save it for later or whatever. And she just looking at me like, you're not gonna eat. I'm like, if I eat anything else or whatever, I'm gonna feel bloated. So then now I can't eat for 12 hours or whatever. It's not like I use the restroom on a regular. Um, so that's a hard thing too or whatever is going to the restroom. Like the constipation or whatever, like taking 3 and 4 days or whatever just to relieve myself of a number two is it's hard also because that plays a part in your eating habits or whatever and stuff like that because all that built up stuff in your intestines which pushes on your stomach, which pushes on your kidney. It doesn't feel good at all. And I'm happy or whatever these last 2 days I've actually been able to use the restroom or whatever. Um, and that's been better, and I'm hoping that I could continue doing it at least once a day or once every other day, whatever, just so when I do eat or whatever, I'm not feeling pain in my kidney.
Just
But
to
yeah,
tell you that Gregory, he suffered with that as well, and when he got like backed up, it caused him to have nausea also. So you don't want to eat even with that.
Mhm.
So he takes Senna 2 times a day, 2 tablets, one in the morning, one in the evening, and he also takes Miralax 2 times a day as well. And that just
Okay.
helps move things along because at one point he was taking a lot of pain medicine as well. That, mind you, so we understand the struggle, but if you get regular, it'll all start. It'll be better for you overall. You'll want to eat more. You'll be available to eat more, And I would just say small portions. Don't overdo it.
Right.
And we understand the bloating because he had this big jug that he was just drinking water because you have to drink water, and it's difficult. But just small portions and try and get it regular. So try the Senna, try the Miralax, and see if that helps.
Okay. Okay. Also, it's like Sam's Club. I go to Sam's Club about the big box of Slim Jims or whatever. So if a person is not willing to eat or whatever, it's I think that box lasted me 5 days, and I didn't even know it. I was just like, so the kids think they slick. They been in my room. I know they did because it's like I know I didn't eat 100 things of Slim Jims by myself. Now if it was like all gone, it was 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I did that. But no, they came in my room. It's like my 4 year old. She know how to climb on stuff or whatever. Be acting like she Tarzan mixed with a little John Wick or whatever, just trying to do everything. I'm just like, okay, I just caught you going in my stuff. Put it back. So that's one thing or whatever you can do is like the little snacks or whatever. It's already kind of prepared or whatever. Like Slim Jims, just open it up, eat it. It's a decent sized protein, but it has a lot of sodium in it. So that's one thing you could try.
Thank
That's
you.
about all I got. Hmm.
Anna, was there anything you wanted to share about this? You don't have to. I just want to make sure.
No, I think everybody kind of, sort of mentioned what I was going to say, which is, with chemo and treatment, it's just you have to kind of go with what you can eat, or in your case, what your son can eat, because you get I get finicky sometimes. I can't drink certain taste things. Like I told my husband, like, you can't serve me in a certain kind of cup. Sometimes I want straws. I mean, it's weird, so you just have to go with what they are interested in eating and make sure that the food is, that you have variations, that you try to incorporate, different kinds of food so that you're getting the right nutrients, fruits, vegetables, and different kinds of proteins, but based on, on what he feels like eating. And I understand the thing about sugar, but sometimes for me, sugar is a comfort food. So I eat candy because it makes me feel better, or a cupcake, um, because it just makes me, sometimes, I have a little chocolate after I have a CAT scan because CAT scans give me anxiety. So it's a balancing act, but paying attention to your weight, your hydration, and your nutrients, the kind of the basic things I think is important, and not being too restrictive, obviously, because you don't want to lose a lot of weight.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Lucy, I joined late, so I didn't get to hear about your son.
Yeah, I'll share. He is 15. He found out about a year ago, so it's going to be a year this May the 27th. So he was 14 at the time. He is on his 12th cycle of chemo. We live in Kansas City. So he's able to locally get his chemo here. However, we do travel to MD every 2 months for CAT scans and PET scans. We're actually going to be there on the 24th. So, but he is strong, and like Aisha's boy, he's a fighter, and yeah, just staying strong and keeping the faith.
Good, good. And
Mhm.
what treatment is he on now?
He's on chemo.
Or
He's on
what, do you know what
chemotherapy.
medication?
He's on carbo and paclitaxel, and there is one more. Starts with a G.
Gemcitabine.
Gemcitabine?
Gemcitabine. Yes, yes, yeah,
And he's responding.
Yes, he has been responding really, really well. I did share that he's had his surgery already for his right kidney. Um, Removed that. They still obviously, they say some areas of concern. A few of the lymph nodes, they're not shrinking as much as they want them to shrink. And some concern in his liver. Lungs look great right now. So, yeah.
That's good. Oh,
Mhm.
I should probably introduce myself in terms of my story. So I was diagnosed in May of 2021. I received carboplatin and paclitaxel for a total of 12 cycles. I had my left kidney removed in September of 2022, and I was doing well until June of last year. We thought I had finished chemo. Then we found that I had metastases to the liver. And so I restarted chemotherapy in July of last year. The initial treatment it didn't help, so I started back on a version of carboplatin paclitaxel and a third medication called panitumumab, which is an immunotherapy. So I've been on that now for about 6 months. And then recently I had this Y90 treatment to really try to eradicate the metastases in my liver, because I've been fortunate that it's only stayed in my liver so far. And so we're trying to get rid of it in my liver completely. And so that's what I just finished. I'm hoping to restart the chemo in the next couple of weeks and see where I go from there. And I am in California, and I have received all my treatment here, but I have traveled to MD Anderson to meet with Dr. Masal, and he's directing my care from there. And I'm hopeful, I'm hopeful that we can still eradicate this. It's not easy. It's a long journey, but Andre is our shining star.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Lucy, do you mind sharing your son's name?
Dylan,
Dylan.
Dylan.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Dylan. Mhm.
I like to have a name for who I'm thinking about and who are in my prayers. So thank you.
Thank you.
Aisha, what is Gregory on? What treatment is he on now?
Okay, so he is what is it? The Red Devil. That's what
Uh-huh. Dr. Ribison,
yeah, that and the gemcitabine,
Cytarabine,
gemcitabine.
uh-huh.
Those are the two that he's taking currently. And then he gets a shot for his white
An
blood cells, right?
injection.
Yeah, he gets the injection. And his cycle is every 2 weeks. So he
Okay.
was on paclitaxel and carboplatin, and that was working initially, and then it started having growth, and that's when we were getting treatment at MSK, and that's when we came down here to MD Anderson. So since he's been down here, that's what he's been receiving, and
Okay.
we've had good scans where it has shown shrinkage everywhere. He
Good.
has it in like 4 places. He has it in his lymph nodes, his kidney, his liver, as well as his lungs. So it was everywhere, and we're just fighting. So the plan is to continue with this regimen for as long as it's working, and then um, we'll see what happens after that. They'll have another regimen if that stops working, but that's the plan thus far. He did like I think how many cycles? Like 5 cycles of the carbo and the paclitaxel, and he just had his third cycle. So now this is going to be his fourth cycle on the new regimen. So that's where we're at, and
Okay.
he still has his kidney. His kidney hasn't been removed.
No surgery
Lucy,
yet.
yeah, no, he hasn't had any surgery. Lucy, did they remove Dylan's kidney prior to you coming to MD Anderson, or was it after you were connected with MD Anderson?
It was after. It was
Okay.
after. I think he had been through 4 cycles.
Oh, okay.
And so, based on the shrinkage and the progress he was making, they decided to take it out at that
Okay.
point. Yeah,
Okay, that's good. And he's with Dr. Mazal, or is he with Dr. Tanier, if you don't mind me asking?
he is with Dr. Mazal,
Okay.
and also Dr. Daw, DAW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask what your son's name is?
Gregory.
Gregory, and how old is he?
He just turned 22. His birthday was the 30th. So 22, Gregory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just something to add real quick. Since we talking about all these chemo treatments, so I started out on doxorubicin and gemcitabine. So I did like uh, about 8 to 12 cycles of that. Okay, I started showing growth, and then Dr. Masai switched me to something else. I think cisplatin or something like that. Started showing shrinkage, but then once it started showing growth, he switched me to like carboplatin and paclitaxel. Uh,
Mm,
and then that showed shrinkage, and once it showed enough shrinkage, I started doing radiation in combination with the carboplatin and the paclitaxel to target some of those, those areas where the chemo wasn't really wiping it out or eradicating it or whatever. So I did the radiation in conjunction with the chemo, and that was able to kill those problem areas in the lymph nodes where my kidney was. So, um, just stay encouraged. If the scans, they may show growth or whatever after showing shrinkage, but Dr. Masal he stays on it. He stays on the money, and he's gonna get you into a regimen that can definitely help. So, just stay encouraged throughout the journey, because it's a tough journey, but it's one that, what I'm saying, can be defeated. So yeah, that's
And hi, Karen. Welcome. We're glad to see you. Karen was at the walk. How you doing? Do you want to give us a brief update on yourself?
I'm doing good. I have some tests coming up next week. They're going to do a biopsy on my leg. They saw some suspicious cells there, so it's going to be intensive biopsy, so they have to put me under. But we're going to go into it and stay prayed up and do what we got to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Well, definitely keep us posted. Do you have any questions tonight? Anything
No,
else you want to share? Lucy, did we answer all of your questions or do you have more? Because we can handle them.
No, you did. You did. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Before I give everyone an update on the walk, if you weren't there, I just want to make sure, did any other questions pop up? Is there anything you thought of that you want to ask or maybe get a perspective on? You can just
um,
blurt out yes.
yeah. I got a
Oh, Andre, go for it.
yeah, I got a quick question for Lucy. Because we're always trying to find, raise more awareness for RMC. So I just wanted to know, um, like, did you and your son know that he had the sickle cell trait? I just wanted to know more about, as far as the sickle cell trait, and kind of your perspective on like when you found out and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we did know that he had sickle cell trait. However, did not know, I imagine, like most people, that it could actually cause that, obviously, with conjunction with every other thing that happens. So we've known since he was little, I think at 3 years old, but it's just the information that he has sickle cell trait, which I think is hereditary from me. He's been very active in sports, never knew that there would be any kind of connection with that. And so until after talking to the doctor, that's when we found out. as far as awareness out here in Kansas City. No, so we go to a hospital, it's a children's hospital here, and the onco that we see has only had one case. He's never seen any other case. It's the biggest hospital here in Kansas City. So as far as information, he did not have a lot of information. His information actually came from Dr. Masol. So everything that he's had to do as far as Dylan's treatment has really been directives from MDA. So not a lot of education, not a lot of information really, which is somewhat scary because there's a huge sports community out here. Lots of soccer clubs and basketball clubs, just too many, too many. So truly scary.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, one of the
I'm
things
sorry.
that I feel like we're having to do is really preach that sickle cell trait's not benign. And we'd
Mhm.
also like to see just more counseling of like, I think any parent would appreciate a conversation. Hey, your child does have sickle cell trait, maybe rethink doing sports, or if they do want to do sports, maybe do extra hydration, IVs, because we know it's the dehydration that really impacts the kidneys. So, yeah, I think unfortunately it's still taking all of us. Advocacy can be as simple as having a conversation with people, but that's still something we are trying hard to just knock the door down that sickle cell trait is not benign.
I'd like to say that, it was the same thing with MSK that they never treated it before. They never really they saw it. Like they've heard of it, but they never treated it. And in New York City, sports is very big also, and there's a lot of children that are there. The misconception, as we all
Hmm.
know, is that if you have the trait, then you have nothing to worry about. And for me, that starts with the medical community because as parents, if we were to know that there was any risk in our children having the sickle cell trait and what they could avoid or what we need to look out for, then we would have, as parents and ourselves, we would have just done more. So it's unfortunate that that's the case and that that's the community, the health community treats it in that manner. I can say though that I'm learning that it's not as rare as we really think. Like the first thing that you hear when the doctor says, "Oh, well, this is very rare," and a lot of people don't have it. That's really not true. I think that a lot of it is being misdiagnosed, and unfortunately, with RMC, oftentimes when it is, it's very advanced. So that's the issue, and not only is it advocacy and education, but if we can get the word out there and do early testing, then this is something that would not be it would be treated better, and it would be handled better. So that's what I believe. But I have to say that I had a coworker and he had someone who passed away of his daughter passed away of cancer, and I never really had the conversation with him as far as what type of cancer. And I actually shared my story with him, and I found out that that's what his daughter passed away from. So his daughter passed away over 20 years ago. So it's not something that is that rare. It's just something that the community really doesn't speak about. And
And unfortunately doesn't care about. I really wish that more people just even cared. It's just so frustrating. And I know because Rick's in the room too. Rick, nearly any time he gets in a room with urologists, will bring up just RMC. Like any little bit, unfortunately, goes
I
such a
don't
long
know.
way. And this has been so, I mean, like Rick can tell you too, it's been so frustrating just trying to get people to listen that this is real. And I know Milton in New Jersey has been trying
Hmm.
to get a registry going and other stuff to try to help this community. And
Yep,
it's just people think it's so small, but it's like it's probably
it's
a
not.
lot bigger than what we know, but they're not getting
It is.
diagnosed. And it's just,
Yep.
there's just, This is one of the most frustrating cancers out there.
It is.
You know, they everything, every meeting is health equity, health equity, health
Yep.
equity, and then we say, well, what about RMC? They don't want to know.
Nope.
And you know, half the problem with these medical associations like the AUA is they want to walk the walk, they want to talk the talk, but they don't
Yep.
walk the walk. They want to say, oh yeah, we're doing this, that, and the other. Well, here's something you could really do. Oh no, we don't want to
Oh,
get
no, no,
involved.
no.
And it's, you know, the only thing we can keep doing is keep pushing the message and keep pushing the message and keep pushing the message. I mean, um, I, I, I wish, I truly wish that we had a big name that was willing to lend their name to help us. You know, with the NFL, they don't want to know. And we've lost two
No.
NFL players in the last 6 months, and yet it's like
Two? I know of
it
one.
never happened. Sorry?
Who's this? I said two. I know of one, of Hillman, but who's the other?
Who the other guy? Who was the other guy that just Hillman
I
was back
don't,
in was
right.
Colorado,
It was Hillman.
and
Okay.
then who
Andre, do
was the
you
second?
remember?
I think it was Corey Davis's brother. I think it was Titus Davis. I think he was like a wide receiver.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll look that
Oh,
up.
I
Thank
think
you.
I can tell. I think I can tell you in a minute. I gotta look it
And
up
Lucy,
because
this is Rick Davis, the founder of ANCAN, by the way. He pops in on the groups and
I
stuff. So
let
Hi,
me
nice to meet
see.
you.
But I think yeah. I mean there was a second guy.
it
Just
just wasn't very public that it was RMC at all.
Yeah, I know
it's never
Titus.
very public.
I know it was Titus Davis. I know his brother Corey Davis used to be a receiver
Here
for the
it
Titans.
is. Um, hold on. Jesse Lemonier. Jesse
Um,
Lemonier. Jesse Lemonier was the other guy.
it just wasn't as big as Ronnie's stuff for some reason. I don't know if it's because it was so back to back that it didn't get the publicity that, and I think with Ronnie there was a shock to it because they didn't announce it until he died, I think 48 hours later. Unfortunately, and it's just, and if you saw the recording of the group that after he had died, we talked about a lot of the news media got it wrong and called it liver cancer, even though it was RMC that metastasized to the liver, which a lot of people were really frustrated about too.
I just put the link in the chat window. For those of you who are new, the chat window are the two little squares at the speech bubbles at the top, and if you open that, things people exchange messages in there, and I if you click on that link, it'll open up in your browser. And that was January the 26th,
Mm-hmm.
sometime right around then.
Mm-hmm. So I will give, if you were not in Houston, I will give you a brief update on the RMC walk. And as you can see, Richie Johnson is not here. She is in St. Thomas right now. She is partying and having the time of her life. I touched
Good for
base with
her.
her today, and she wanted me to give all of her regards to you, but she loves y'all, but she's partying right now. So
Okay, could you send a message back? Could you tell her there were, I think there's 8 of us in the room right now? Could she have, could she have a pina colada for each of us, please?
I bet she could. I bet she sure could. Basically, she loves us, but she's gonna get back to us. So she's doing really great. She's having a great time. Um, so I will give you the brief update on the walk. I'm sure Richie's going to give you a much more detailed update. Andre, I would say it was a success, a wild success. It was very well attended. We had about 200 people in the Sugar Land location. We had a bunch of people in Oakland, California. There were walks everywhere, the UK, Virgin Islands, Canada, Colombia, Greece. I mean, it was worldwide of people walking for RMC. We did get an update from Dr. Masal about what's going on in the community, and there's going to be a new clinical trial coming up this year. So RMC is now going to have 3 different clinical trials, which is huge in the course of 2 years. That's humongous. We're still working towards the goal of RMC finding a viable treatment, like a very, very good, effective treatment option. Dr. Masal is still very optimistic that we're moving in the right direction, which makes us all thrilled. We had wonderful times. Karen was there, Aisha and Gregory were there, Andre was there, and of course we were thinking about Anna as well. She was in California with her babies, and they had a great, as far as I saw, because I saw some pictures, they had a great walk in California. We'll get together. So I would say it was a raging success. What we did afterwards is we chowed down on some Cajun food. We had good time. Carissa, Aisha, and Gregory were with me and Brian at a table, so we had a fun time just catching up. Brian and Anessa were there. A lot of just our support group family was there, and we had a great time. And if you couldn't be there physically, we were absolutely thinking about you. But we obviously through the walk were able to raise funds to go to MD Anderson towards research. So, Andre, do you have anything to add?
You summed it up pretty well.
Okay, that was just the cliff notes. It was a great. Honestly, we put in an order with God for good weather, and we got it. We got the most perfect Texas weather you could imagine. It stayed nice and consistent the whole day, which, if you know Texas weather, it does not do that. We were just so happy and oh, and Miss Dorothy was also there, Amaka's mom. Brian and I took her out to dinner the night before the walk, and we talked, and she was kind enough to give me a funeral program from Amaka's service, which I deeply, deeply appreciated. And we shared and talked about how wonderful she was, and how her life still has a lot of meaning and a lot of meaning to all of us. So that was probably one of the best parts for me. And then part of what we did is we also had a party at Ms. Ritchie's. I will tell you, her son Mark did say that he was a great griller. I can indeed fact check that he is. We had a great little party. Carissa, she is a great singer. We had karaoke. We had the RMC ladies group. Do expect us on Spotify. No, you will not be seeing us on Spotify. But we had a great time singing classic songs, and we ended the night singing Let's Stay Together by Al Green. So we had just a fantastic time fellowshipping and loving in the RMC family. So, I pray that there's a day where we don't ever have to do a walk, that RMC is so well known and you can get treated at any single hospital you go to. So, all right. So I just want to check, is there anything anybody else wants to share? Is there anything you want to bring up? If not, that's fine. But if you do, just interrupt. Because if not, we'll just let you go rest and go to sleep. We've had a great group tonight, a fantastic group tonight.
It's
I
playoffs.
just
I'm not
want to
going to
check
sleep till
in.
1 o'clock.
Edward, whenever you get to MD Anderson, you might need to see a chiropractic and the palliative care, because your neck, they might just have to straighten you out.
No, I went to the chiropractor Saturday and Friday just for this moment. So I'm
There you
good.
go. You were
I am great.
pre-preparing.
I
Okay,
am
I gotta
great.
ask Edward, who's your team? Who you want? Who's your
I
team?
don't really go for teams. I go for players. So my players is
Okay,
Jason Tatum,
okay,
um, because he's from St. Louis or whatever, and
okay.
I like his style of play. So that's my new one or whatever. And then my old pick is LeBron James because he,
Oh,
he played like I used to when I play, and I coach basketball also. It was
okay.
kind of hard this season or whatever, and the kids were looking like, "Oh, dang, what kind of diet you on?" I'm like, "Oh, you got jokes." I'm like, "Your mama not cooking good. That's why I'm losing weight." You don't play the dozen with somebody like me or whatever. I'm great at it. I'm great. No, but yeah, my teams is the Lakers and Boston right now. I was only able to
Okay.
see Boston. Um, because that's the only time I had like energy or whatever
Okay.
to go or whatever. So it was amazing games. I was like 8 rows from the court or whatever. I think JT said hi because I said something only a St. Louis person would say. Like I'm like, hey, let's get a ham St. Paul. Nobody knows what that is. It's a sandwich. If you ain't from St. Louis,
Okay.
you don't even
You
know.
wouldn't know. Okay.
You
So you
look
got
like
his
hey,
attention.
yeah, I got his attention or whatever. I think I got as close to about 45 feet away. I was gonna get a little closer, but it's like my muscles wouldn't let me jump the rail, and then it was a security guard there, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
we
I don't
don't
want to
want
go
you
to
to get
jail.
tackled. Exactly.
So
Well, enjoy the
yeah,
I have
playoffs.
I have a quick question just because I came in late. I just want to check on Dr. Anna. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Rick. I'm getting better. I had a rough time with this Y90 treatment I had in March, but I think I'm turning the corner finally. So
What was
I'm
the
all right.
treatment, love? What was the
I had
treatment?
Iridium 90. It's Iridium
Oh,
90
okay.
Y90. It's sort of
Yeah,
like a chemoembolization directly to
yeah.
the metastases I have in my liver.
In the
And
liver. Yeah,
it
no. I know exactly. I know exactly what it is because we've talked about using it in prostate cancer metastasis. What's
And they use it in pancreatic cancer too.
and
That's talked about in
pancreatic.
the group
Now,
a lot.
what are they?
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the commercial name of it? Something balls, something I forget, but I know exactly
They
what it
call
is.
it TARE, like like it's targeted um embolization.
Yeah. No, I
They
know
call it
exactly what it.
TACE. It's yeah. TACE is one that they use. It's a chemoembolization, but then
Yeah.
this is like a targeted um radiation embolization. So it's like
So,
TARE.
how have you had any scans? Have they seen the impact yet?
It takes a while because there's a lot of inflammation that is
Yeah. Yeah.
surrounding the lesion.
Yeah.
So I had a CAT scan, but it just showed a lot of inflammation,
Yeah. No, I
and
get.
it can take up to 6 months to see an
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same concept, but obviously very, very different. But I had three different treatments for my cancer, and one of them was brachy,
Yeah,
and so but I mean, obviously the brachy seeds are much, much, much larger than these little these the little the little balls that they put into your liver. But I don't think I've ever talked to anybody before who's actually had the treatment. So it made you feel rough. How many times do they do it? First of all, just once?
it's just once. It's one big mega nuclear bomb that went off in my liver.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I get it, man. Did you have a Geiger counter? I had a friend who had a Geiger counter, and he put it up next to me after I was done. It was like tick 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 tick.
Yeah, I probably would have gone off because they told me that if I went to the airport, I would have like
Yeah.
probably
Oh yeah.
let the scans go off. So
And then
yeah,
how long is it before you can have the kids close to you or animals? How many days do they tell you have to wait?
they told me that it used to be a couple days, but the IR doc who did it, he was from UCLA. He said that he felt that it was very localized, so he didn't
Yeah.
give me any special precautions for the kids.
Oh, well,
So
wow. Oh, I'm
so
glad. Well, maybe we'll come back and talk to you again because like I say, we've tried to get it used when we're aware of liver mets. Um, so cool, cool, cool. And you're feeling a little better now?
yeah, they had to start me on steroids because I was having these low grade fevers and ongoing pain, like right upper quadrant pain. So they started me on steroids, and I think it's helping. So I'm hopeful that I can restart chemo in the next week or so, or hopefully it'll be 2 weeks.
What low dose steroids or high dose?
Medrol pack, so it's kind of load, nothing insane. They had me on dexamethasone for my chemo, so it's definitely lower than the dexamethasone I was on
Oh,
before.
right, yeah. I mean, you're not bouncing off the walls, are you?
Not right now. I get the munchies. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what?
Okay.
Any steroid is not fun. They're all
I don't like them.
crappy.
I don't
No.
like them. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
All right. Well, it's lovely to
Right.
see you. It's good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, it
Okay.
was so good to see you all, and we will be in touch and we will see you soon. And again, Richie sends her love. She's just out partying tonight. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.